Good afternoon, folks, and welcome to the first in the World Cup series from the Wheelie FC. This is our World Cup preview show, previewing the World Cup over the next 6 weeks, and to see who the eventual winner will be. I'll give my guess. Carl will give his guess, and then we'll see how Scotland get on as well over the next 6 weeks. So, delights me today to welcome Carl along from the Totally 11 Horn Football Podcast. Welcome, Carl.
Afternoon, Stephan. Afternoon, everybody.
How we doing? How we doing?
Not too bad, over there. We all had a little technical issues to hang up there, but although we're on anyway, and as well, I did try to shout at you before off the when I joined in the room, that you listening to your intro, like, mate, where I was waving and stuff, but there it goes. Is what happens when you're using software. So
Yeah, and this makes a nice change having you on my channel. So thank you very much for coming on. You're the first guest on Wheelie FC TV ever. So thank you for being that.
it's not surprising. I'm always gonna have to. I eventually was gonna be the first one anyway.
So we've got the World Cup starting today, as you know, Cal, in Mexico in the famous Azteca Stadium at a quarter past 6 in the evening, our time for the opening ceremony. But over in the Azteca, it's a quarter past 12 in the morning. What do you think of having the World Cup over 3 countries and a hell of a lot of different time zones? Plus, for us in the UK, we're going to have to stay up awfully late to catch our team's games, aren't we? What do you think on that?
Well, you know me as a huge American sports fan. I'm usually staying up late at night watching all the NBA basketball, baseball, American football at those times. Anyway, this is it's common for me, so this is my norm anyway. Hosting in the it's a big or huge World Cup, hosting in 3 countries is it's quite challenging. We've had hosted it in 2 countries in the past, with Japan and South Korea back in 2002. But this is a new norm that we are expect to see multiple countries now hosting because of the cost of the World Cup as well. So everything's so different now, and yeah, it's gonna be interesting how to deal with that. It's gonna be tough as nails with that one, and that's something you gotta be very wary now of how now it's gone from 4 to 6 weeks now. So yeah, but it's gonna be the most expensive World Cup because of the way, and I don't want to try to get politicized, but in the way it has been an issue when fans have denied entry into the US mainly to support their teams and stuff as well. And yeah, it's gonna be this. I hate to say this is gonna be the most politicized World Cup ever in history because of one man who's dominated the world and he wants to keep himself in the media, but we'll try to make sure it stays a football. But there's a chance that it's gonna be politicized. But you never know.
Yeah, I mean, there's obviously stuff coming out within the last sort of 24 to 48 hours about a certain man behind the scene, let's just say. The Well, let's just say the FIFA president, there's stuff coming out about him, so it just goes to show that even though we got rid of the dead wood after the last two had with
We slept back to now we got someone else. The problem is with Infantino, and this has been the norm because he's done this at the last World Cup. The way before in Qatar, the FIFA World Cup, he's done the same thing again of denying things, and that's it. He's like, he's not the person that we voted for, that FIFA vote, that the members, the football association voted for 10 years ago. He's lost his soul, So pretty much, he's always going to say this stuff, and he's going to continue. And like I said, I think he will continue for the next 10 more years because the next World Cup is going to be across in Spain, Portugal, and Morocco, and with the centenary game in Uruguay, Argentina, I think Chile as well. But the World Cup after that is going to be in Saudi Arabia. So that is the question. I think he's going to be there. He's knows the I think he's one of the strongest man. That is going to be unopposed. No one's not going to challenge his authority.
That's right, and of course, obviously, this is the first World Cup ever in history to have 48 teams instead of the usual 32. So it's almost like mini leagues in the group stages. Then you've got another round before you even get to the last 16 in the quarterfinals. So I think the expansion of the World Cup is a good thing because it invites more countries to play on the world's biggest stage. Countries like Curacao, Cape Verde, Jordan, Uzbekistan, Iraq had their first World Cup since 1986. So, congratulations to all these countries for either debuting in the World Cup or coming back to the world stage after such a long time away. Do you think the expansion to 48 teams is a good thing, or should it have just stuck with a traditional 32?
I think I'm more on the balance. I understand we need more teams, especially because the dominance how UEFA has with its teams, have the most teams that qualify for the World Cup. So there was always going to be a balance of bringing in more African teams and more North American teams, because, like I said, but it's a question: is are you diluting football with quantity over quality? And that's something that's going to be very careful how this is, because especially because some of the players have all come back. Most of them come back who were just in the Champions League final, such as Arsenal players from Arsenal in the English squad, and most of the Brazil. They've had to have an extra week to recover. Same with PSG as well. So technically, it's a bit of it's interesting to see how does all the 48 teams manage this squad properly when it comes to the next 6 weeks, 4 weeks. There's always been the maximum. Was 4 weeks was always good because it gave everyone a break, but because, like I said, all the leagues across Europe are going to have a little bit of, mainly the Premier League will have a bit of a late kickoff. Usually they kick off for the second week of August. They've now moved on to, I think, they kick off on the 22nd of August. So they started a little bit late. So it's going to be interesting to see how the first couple of weeks go, the first week or two does, because there's going to be a lot of games. It's going to be very demanding, especially the players who are playing more than 60 games across last season as well.
I should also say that Scotland have qualified for the first time in 28 years, along with various other countries, of course. How do you think, Hal? Because I know you're sort of torn between two national countries in this World Cup.
I don't know about that. I don't know about that one, but yeah, I get your point.
I was going to say for obvious reasons, right? So how do you think, first off, Scotland is going to play in a group? Bear in mind that we've actually got two of our group back from 28 years ago in Brazil and Morocco. How do you think we're going to fare this time round? Also bearing in mind that our first game kicks off at 2 a.m. UK time in the early hours of Monday morning as well.
Well, listen, you're not been to the World Cup for a long time, so that's different. The second thing is, since that Morocco side of '98 is not the same. The Morocco national is so different. So they were close to being the first Arabic team to nearly get to the World Cup final. Eventually, they lost. They lost anyway to Argentina. The thing, I think it was it was definitely Argentina, because it wasn't France, it was Argentina. The thing is, because of what's happened with the Morocco side after with all the controversial ending at the CAF final, the Cup of Nations final, that's going to be the interesting point. How do they rebound from that? For Brazil, under under the brilliant manager of Carlo Ancelotti, and like I said, him going in his managerial job, and to make that decision to choose Neymar, despite Neymar not being in the best, so not being the fittest enough, and there was a lot of decisions why they didn't take João Pedro, who's missed out on on the World Cup. So in a way, it's how you do the teams, because I think Morocco. I think you have a bit of a good chance, especially they got very good players there. Bit Diaz is in that squad as well, so they've got a very good squad there in that Morocco side. Brazil with the selection of Vinicius Junior, Endrick in that squad as well. You've got my
Mhm. And obviously, if we miraculously qualify, which I think we do in third place, I think we'd actually fare quite well in the knockouts. This is a strange thing. We've beaten Spain before, we've beaten Denmark before. We can beat anybody on our day, but it just depends what Scotland's going to turn up in that first game in the early hours of the 15th of June. Right. Yeah, and also your country, Carol, of England. Now, obviously, last night they were playing their second last warm up game against Costa Rica, and they won that game again. I think they won it at the counter. I went to bed at 1-0 and then I fell asleep, so I missed the second half. Funny that. And today, you were playing it behind closed doors against fourth tier Miami FC. So, do you think England will get to their usual customary position of between the semi final and the final, or do you think they'll be sent packing earlier this year with it being a 48 team competition instead of a 32 team competition?
World Cup. They have the, especially got players like Semenyo, who is a huge player as well. So, matter of fact is, look at this. You got Semenyo in there, Inaki Williams, Jordan Ayew, Abdul Fatu, Thomas. Well, less than say about Thomas Partey. These are the names that we know across the in our in Europe as well. Even Kennedy Solomana as well. So the thing is the question is, do we have to? It's if we can get if we can looking at our squad and the much and the permutations of where we could finish because we're in Group L. So in the knockout stage, I think the winner in Group L will have to play a third place group, either E, H, I, J, and K. And the teams that we could face is probably DR Congo, might be in Group K, and either Austria or Algeria is one of them, or even, and this is a big one, what if France finish third and we have to play France, Senegal, Iraq, or Norway? That's going to be the interesting part of who we play against. In that, if we get to the round 32, can we compete against them? And that's the big question.
Yeah, and we should also say afternoon to Doug. To Doug, welcome in, Doug. How you doing, my friend? How you doing? Welcome in. Great to have you with us, Doug. Thank you for watching our World Cup preview. Now, a World Cup wouldn't be a World Cup without some drama from some nation or other. Which drama do you think is going to cause? Which nation, sorry, Cal, do you think is going to cause the most controversial sort of drama in the World Cup, either with a, a managerial sacking or appealing some kind of VAR decisions as well, because we're going to come on to that shortly, because there's a whole host of new VAR rules coming into play for this tournament as well. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, all I'm going to say is remember what happened with Spain a few years back, if you remember rightly. That's right, yes, Russia 2018. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. But you know what? I don't think Spain's going to get anywhere near the World Cup final. I really don't. Don't remind me, it was good. I totally get what you're saying, girl, 100%. But I'm going to go out on a limb. I'm going to say it's going to be an Argentina Germany final. Reese will be happy at that. If Reese watches this later, more power to you, pal. And I think Germany will beat Argentina in the final. Do I think it will go all the way to penalties? I'm not sure yet, but I've just got a feeling that Julian Nagelsmann and the German squad are going to win the World Cup. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay then, so off the back of that, what you were saying about socks, Cal, from each group, give me your sock team to qualify for the next round after the sort of group phase. I know it is, that's why I'm asking. You love it, really. Well, do you know what? It doesn't surprise me. It's three guaranteed games, and after 28 years, that's all we can ask for, right? Hmm. Yeah. So you, Panama, Panama. Okay then, well, what do you think to Graham Arnold getting Iraq to the World Cup for the first time since 1986, the year I was born? Hmm. And do you think they'll have a chance of getting out of the group? Yes. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah. I mean, it is for Iraq. That could be seen as the proverbial group of death, the group of shit, really, for them. I think Norway will definitely get out of the group. France will definitely get out of the group because all my friends are back in France to win the whole thing. Now, that I'm not so sure on because we all remember after the World Cup in South Africa, or rather during that World Cup, how petty France got during that World Cup. Mm. Alright, Cal. What's your surprise package of the World Cup going to be? My surprise package or dark horses is going to be Japan. I think they'll get quite far. So you're not changing. I'm giving you the opportunity here to change if you want to, but if you're not
No,
changing, yes. Right. And I suppose with it being a free country World Cup, we've already talked a little bit about Mexico, but I suppose we really need to talk about the other two host countries as well, and of course the USA and Canada. Now, Canada have had a bit of a mixed bag in training. They've had a injury scare yesterday. Coney went away from training in a car with a fever. And bear in mind the Canadians play on on Saturday. So how do you think the third, let's just say third host country, is going to do in this tournament? Jesse Marsh, yeah. I wonder why, Carl. Well, I know why, but viewers might not. So you maybe want to give a little bit of context here. Bayern Munich, of course, yeah. That's it, Alfonso Davis at Bayern, yeah, yeah. Hmm. Mm. I mean, do you not think that having the home crowd backing them, that'll make a difference to the team? Yeah, that's right. And of course, it's been 32 years since the USA last hosted the World Cup finals back in 1994, with, of course, that infamous penalty miss from Roberto Baggio. But do you think that the US will have a good showing in this tournament, bearing in mind who the man was
No.
that got the World Cup to the US? Because he's in Giovanni Infantino's back pocket, basically, at FIFA. Mm. Okay. Yeah, well, you just actually answered my next question, Carl. It was going to be which of the host nations is going to get it furthest, but you've just answered it by saying Mexico. And of course, Mexico will have a little bit of flair and trickery up their sleeve. Remember the Blanco move from 1998 against Paraguay? That was amazing when he sort of got the ball and done the two-legged bunny hop for the player. Yeah. No. Of course, it's Mexico versus South Africa tonight at 3 a.m. Local time or 2 a.m. local time. I think it's 8:15 p.m. here. So what's that? That's 2:15 a.m. local time. So out of the first game, give me your predictions for that between Mexico and South Africa, please, Carl. You love this! You do this to me and Reese on a Saturday, man. Come on. Come on, it's just me and you. Come on. Just forget about everybody else watching. Yep. Yep. Mm. Alright, well, I'm going to say it's going to be 3-2 to Mexico. 3-2. A high scoring game. I think there's going to be loads of goals in this World Cup as well, by the way, Carl. I think this is going to be one of the highest scoring World Cups we're actually going to see. And I think it's going to be between Erling Haaland, Kai Havertz, and Messi for the Golden Boot at the end of the World Cup. Come on then. Who am I missing? Fair point. Fair. So, so okay. Okay, so I've given you my top three. You've sort of given me yours by saying Lamine Lamal, Ronaldo, and Nico Williams. Is that going to be your top three? Come on then. Come. And do you know what I was reading yesterday, Cal, actually? There's not just going to be an opening ceremony in Mexico. There's going to be one in Canada and in the US as well. All the countries are going to have a open ceremony, and apparently during the final, there's going to be a concert at half time that allegedly goes on for 45 minutes.
Listen,
Exactly. No, no. I mean, I get it for something like an Olympics or a Commonwealth Games or a World Athletics Championship. That's totally fine because their ceremonies go on for
yeah,
about 3 hours anyway. But this is soccer. It's not American football, right? It's soccer. Yeah. The the heat as well. Actually, to be fair, the heat's going to play a big factor, folks. The storms as well. Yeah. I mean, look at the England game last night. It was delayed by what? Almost 2.5 hours because of the storm coming over the area. It, it was meant to kick off, I think, at 9 p.m. local time, which would have been which would have been about um, uh, which would have been about 4 p.m. Sorry, which would have been no, sorry, let me do this again. It was meant to kick off at 9 p.m. UK time, which would have been 4 p.m. American time. However, it was pushed back to nearly 6 or 5 or 6 p.m. American time, 10 p.m. here because of a storm. So we're going to have to get used to that, I think. Games might not kick off at their scheduled time depending on the weather. Now, if a game does get postponed or cancelled due to the severity of the weather in some parts of these countries, I mean, how's that going to work with currently it's 104 matches that this World Cup is going to be kicking off tonight. After tonight, you've got 103 matches. You've got another 2 games tomorrow, which takes you down to 101. You can see where this is going. Yeah. We certainly don't, and I think that this is a good trial run. I mean, I know the Euros, for example, in 2028 could be in the UK and Ireland, so I think this is a good trial run for them international tournaments in the future. And you think, because you just said there, it's so expensive to host these world events, that's why, for one, it has to go across multiple countries. Two, that's why ticket prices are so damn high. And three, that's why fans are kicking up a stink about the price of tickets for these events. And of course, because they've expanded it as well. So, yeah, that's your fourth. Which the club version of this tournament I thought was fucking awful. Well, you and me both. Do you think that over the next, say, 10, 15 years, which is like 2 or 3 World Cups down the line, do you think because it's becoming so commercialised now and all about money that the actual World Cup will lose its value as a tournament in world football and just become like a big international version of the Champions League? I quite believe that as well, Carl. Quite believe that.
Yeah,
Yeah. And I mean, jumping ahead, I think one of the tickets for a World Cup game, I think it was the final. I think one of the cheapest
it
brackets
was.
was 8 grand. £8,000 just to sit in a seat for 90 minutes and potentially not even watch your team lift what's regarded as the greatest trophy in world football. See, well, we already have because apparently I've seen this on another YouTuber's channel. Netflix have made, wait for this, Carl, have made a FIFA World Cup browser game. So they're already cashing in, but apparently this game took 3 years to come to fruition. Honestly, I've seen the chap that I watched. He was playing the game actually on the video, and it looks so shit like a 1990s version of a FIFA World Cup game. Hell yeah! Hell, that's right. That's right.
What's going on? I remember the days of buying the World Cup game on, at the store, playing it.
Yep.
We don't get that anymore since they've streamlined it, and it started after the 2018 World Cup because they didn't launch a separate game for that. They put it part as a pack on for the FIFA 18 at the time. This is where we're going to now.
Exactly. Exactly.
So
But guys, if you do have and PS4, PS5, you can, if you have EAFC 26 installed, you can get the World Cup. However, it's not called the FIFA Team World Cup.
It's a rip-off
called
version.
the World's Game.
It's a rip-off version.
I discovered. Now, on the channel, maybe just for a bit of fun over the World Cup, when there's no, let's say, high quality games on, when it's like a bit of a mundane fixture day, we might do a simulated version of the World Cup or the World Game. I don't know when we're going to go yet.
Again, that name.
We'll see.
Seriously, Stephan, that name, seriously, it annoys me because it's not bloody right, you know. So yeah,
I know that, you know that, everybody knows that, but because we had the big following, the big spat with EA or Electronic Arts, as it's known, apparently it's never going to be resolved.
Yeah, they're not going to get back together. So it's not, it's like a relationship. You can't get back with your ex. That's not going to happen with EA and FIFA. Even now, EA is being bought by the Saudis and it's going to go private. And also, Donald Trump's son-in-law.
Sorry. Just back up a bit there. What did you just say?
EA has been bought by the Saudis and Donald Trump's son-in-law as part of that bid.
What, by the Public Investment Fund, the PIF?
I think so, yeah.
Oh, for cheating hell!
No, it's not. It's not. It's actually not Public Investment Fund. It is actually Public Investment Fund. No, you're right. It is Public Investment Fund for $55 billion, and that deal's supposed to be closing soon, which means it's going to go into private ownership, which means that, yeah.
Well, let's not let that put a downer on this show, folks. I will still continue to play EA games, trust me on that one.
Listen, wait till the prices go up, then you see. So,
well, I just get them when they're really cheap after we've been like it for about a year.
Yeah, but just remember, the Saudis want their money back after spending $55 billion on EA, Stephan. How are they going to get that money back?
They'll just make sure that the Saudi Pro League is the best league in the fucking game.
What do you think? Of course. So yeah, they bought EA as a whole company, not EA Sports, EA as a whole company. Which means, yeah, they didn't buy esports, they bought EA as a whole company. Which means certain games will probably be questioned because you know what the Saudis like with them being so conservative. That's what they're trying to, so you better watch the space because.
Well, for example, if there's a golf game in, Live Golf will be in it, just for fun.
Well, just remember, Live Golf is going to be wound up by the end of the year.
Yeah, I know, but not the Saudis' eyes, of course.
It will be. Definitely will be.
And everybody else's eyes except their own.
Well, it already has happened, so.
I should also take this point, guys. If you could subscribe and give this video a like, that would be absolutely amazing. It'll help grow the channel. All the handles for the various socials that I'm on under UAFC here along the bottom there. Please do follow or subscribe to every single one. That would be amazing. I will be back on tomorrow and every Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday during the World Cup at 2 p.m. Maybe with some special guests, or maybe just on my own, but we'll have to see. And then there'll be more selfless talk like this. But as we get into the World Cup, it will be more exciting because we'll be able to chart the path of the 48 teams in the tournament. Do you think, Cal, they'll round it up and give us a 50-team World Cup at some point within the next 10 years?
No, it won't go to 50 teams. there's been talk about moving it up to 64 teams in the past. So
If
if I were
if it goes to 64 teams, then club leagues will be buggered for at least 2 months.
exactly, so that's the problem. Yeah, listen, it's going to stay at 48 for the time being. It's not surprised they'll go up 12 more. That's the rules. They'll go up 12. Well, 32 to 48, which is okay.
That's 16.
16. So 48 to 64 will be 16 again, at least. Maybe more than that.
A 64 team international competition. I'm sorry, but that's going to be hell on earth to organise.
Yeah,
The
so you have another
scheduling's going to
16.
be crazy.
Yeah, so it's going to be another 16 teams. I know if it makes it 64, which they were talking about trying to do, maybe particularly for this World Cup, they were trying to get it 64, but it stayed at 48. There were talks that they were trying to get to 64, but that never came, but they're stuck at 48. But they don't. But in the future, there's probably might be up to 64 teams in 15, 20 years time.
Do you know what my one hope is from this World Cup? Is that we see Steve Clark actually smile either for a prolonged period, either during an interview or when it pans to him on the touchline. Because he's normally such a door-faced manager, it's unbelievable. And just remember, Cal, after the next World Cup in 2030, where's Steve Clark going? Leeds.
He's not going to Leeds because Leeds will be more in the bloody champ. They will be competing in Europe, and with his style, no, I will take another. I will take another German, Spanish, Italian manager over a Scottish one. Last time we had a Scottish man in charge, look, it didn't work out well. So
I knew that would get you. I knew that would get you, Cal.
oh, shut up.
That's why I'm just laughing.
No, that's why I came back to shots fired back at you and explain my reasons and say, when's the last time a Scottish manager did well at Leeds? Probably not since either Billy Bremner or Jock Stein and the guy McAllister. So I'm just being brutally honest with you. Or even Steve Evans was the last Scottish manager in charge at Leeds. So if I were you, be careful what you wish. Be careful what you earn, Stefan, because I could come back and give you some stats and hit you with it.
Why don't you? Shit.
I already did.
I thought you had more in your locker. Obviously not.
Listen. Listen here. I had a long night last night, particularly after I was out. Yeah. So technically, leave it be, right? Just yeah.
See, your body clock is used to having late nights. Mine's isn't. That's going to be a problem.
Well, listen. As I said, try if you work 12 hours when you work 12 hours a shift, like I used to do nearly 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Then you know why. Yeah. So there's a reason why I've done this for a long time. And like I said, yeah, because I watch my late night sports, American sports more than most of you guys that I know do. So,
I mean, I just hope that BBC Scotland or Sports Scene are going to do like the Matt replays like they do.
No, it's all controlled by the BBC down in London, in Salford, actually. So
we're going to have to do something because they truly can't expect school children to stay up until 2, 3 a.m. for example to watch their favorite.
Well, Sports Scene won't be involved because they never get involved with the World Cup stuff anyway. So that's the thing. Sports Scene's always been more based around the football the leagues across, and that's it. Nothing to do with the World Cup, which I know in the past they don't. So I would just be honest with you. They do it for the Scotland games because of the qualification, but that because it's under the one banner with the BBC co-hosting it with ITV and STV.
Mm-hmm.
Both, yeah, you should understand the BBC control the whole of the BBC controls, especially for the Scottish output. They will put their Scottish presenters and pundits and commentators on for the games in Scotland, but across the UK it'll be a generic commentary, British commentary. So
I mean, I think I will be watching STVITV's coverage slightly more than the BBC's, but
Well, here's the thing: ITV's, because STV is an output of ITV, but it's all going to be the same. It's not going to be an output of Scottish presenters. It will be only for the rest of the UK when Scotland is playing one of the games on STV or ITV. But in general, it will still be either Albie Coyce or someone in that commentary position. So
sorry, when you go.
I've said my piece. I just said what I've had to say. So
he was a brilliant player for Scotland at World Cups and Euros. But I think, and this will shock you, did you hear the result of Scotland's most iconic goal ever?
You mean the one against Bolivia?
No. The competition he had for the most iconic goal between World Cups.
No, I didn't, because I haven't really bothered about that as much anyway. So,
all right. Well, I'll inform you as to who got it. Archie Gemmill got it for his 1978 goal against the Netherlands.
Okay.
However, who came second?
I don't know.
Oh, come on, bicycle kick.
That's what I'm gonna say. McTominay. I just said McTominay. I said I don't know. Listen, I'm not more Scottish for the Scottish classics or the football classics, right? Than you. So yeah.
I mean, if you ask me, yeah, that was an iconic goal by Archie Gemmill. But I think Scott McTominay's goal against Denmark was the most iconic goal ever for Scotland at a major tournament.
Okay, that I understand that, but have you seen Archie Gemmill's goal, the way he scored it?
Yes, I've seen it about 40 billion times.
Well, exactly. Yeah, I get that exactly. So was that because when Scotland qualified for its first World Cup in 1974, right? Isn't it? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Is that when he scored in 1974, the 1974 World Cup, or was it 1978?
I'm pretty sure 78 against the Netherlands.
78, yeah. So pretty much because it was in Argentina, I think because it was the second World Cup, no, the fourth World Cup appearance actually. There's a reason why actually goes the way he scored it because with football, with modern football is now a lot more advanced. That was the way he had to score. That's a lot harder than it is now.
I'll give you that one, but only just that was
you know what? I'm telling the truth. I'm just gotta tell the truth. Just gotta be really honest with you. That's why you and I are friends. I'm always gonna be the Brutus honest one. So
yeah, maybe I should have had that as your caption at the bottom. The brutally honest one.
Hey, I prefer that. I prefer that being than not saying the truth. So
I'm going to put that in for you next time. I'm going to try and put that in.
All right, fine. You do what you have to do. So yeah.
We'll see. But no seriousness, Gal. Thank you for coming on the channel today. Thank you for being my inaugural guest on my channel, WeAFC. Don't forget. Sorry, Gal, when you go.
No, you're most welcome. I'm probably going to be your second guest at some point again. So this is my first time you've brought a guest. I always knew it was always going to be me. Who else is going to? So
well, Reese was working, and so was Douglas. So I couldn't get him.
Okay, that's a fair point.
To join us. But no seriousness. Thank you for coming on today. It's been great having you. Thank you for giving us your insight into the World Cup. I just think Scotland are going to do okay, average. I don't think we're going to set the world on fire. I hope we qualify, but I think as soon as we landed in America about a week ago, 2 weeks ago now, I think the pilot has just left the doors open and the engine running so we can make a quick getaway when you get knocked out of the tournament. But in all seriousness, guys, the opening ceremony is tonight on ITV and STV from 6:15 UK time. Obviously, if you're an international viewer to this channel, check your local listings with your TV provider. Enjoy the World Cup, guys. Take care, and I'll see you again on the next one. Bye bye for now, guys.
Bye bye. Hmm.